Hello, YouTube fans and Facebook fans of DX Engineering. It is Thursday afternoon here in the Eastern Time Zone of the USA. It is time for the Manufacturer Showcase, brought to you by DX Engineering. It's 1830 Zulu, that's 2:30 Eastern Daylight Time. It's July 29th, 2021, and we have a very special guest today. It's Dr. Bob Heil, K9 EID. Hello, Bob.
Well, hi, Tim, and greetings to all the people that are on board. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're very happy to have you. And Bob, what is going on? What is happening? What is new at Heil Sound?
Well, first of all, I want to start this off by showing you a picture.
Okay.
Let's get that going. There we go.
Look at
Remember that?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that I think that was at a Dayton.
Nope.
Nope.
It's the first time we met in Oklahoma.
Oh, in Oklahoma City.
You hadn't left there yet. Well, maybe part-time.
Yeah, no, that's true. That was back when I asked you to come down to the Oklahoma. Yep. Yeah, the Ham Fest down there, and that's W5JCS. Yeah. Is the other fella in the photo. So, yeah, that's Bob, I want to say that's probably 15, 16, 17 years ago.
It was down the pike. Jim's such a good friend. He's a great guy. And when I do the organ concerts, when I could do them down there, why, he'd bring his mother and his sister. We stayed good friends. But anyway, I just thought we'd have a little fun showing the early days of Tim and Bob.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, one of the main things that we've been doing around here is making things happen for the 705. And we came up with a headset for that. And it's a very, very good headset. And while at it, I said, you know what? I think we should be able to do that for all the handy talkies. We never were big players in the handy talkie market as far as microphones and stuff. And so we did that. We also have them for Yaesu. We have one for Kenwood, and those work on other types too. But the main thing is the ICOM, the HCHI, that works straight into the 705. No adapter needed. It really works great.
Boy, that looks super, Bob.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's $59. And I told the guys going in, I said, this is going to be something, there's no profit, so get ready. And I really mean that, because I'm sick and tired of seeing these junk things come in here and they're no good and they sound terrible. I said, we're going to fix that. Because if it's got my name on it, it's going to be fixed. We will not allow junk.
That's great.
The other thing we're working on is the adapter. It's just very, very short, few weeks or month out. It's an adapter for the 705 that we can use other headsets, such as our HTH, the BM17, even the Pro set can be used with the adapter. And so we're really happy that all worked out well, because these work so good. We have it in single and dual sides. We also have it as the IC for ICOM, because it takes a special element, and we have it as a dynamic to work Kenwood, Yaesu, and all Elecraft and so on. And that same thing goes for the headset. And I'm really excited about some of this, because we have a lot of folks that are looking to plug some of their other microphones and headsets into that 705. And that 705 is a killer.
Yeah, it is.
I love it. But now we have products that'll work with it. So we're really happy about that. This little adapter to allow those, like the IC headsets, into the 705, other than the standard HTHI, that you need no adapter, plugged straight in.
Right, and you've got a push to talk button there too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, there's a push to talk on the cable. And I also did a push to talk in the adapter, so we'll be able
Yep.
to have push to talk for that. So we've been working on that. And, I was really glad to be able to work with the ICOM. That's a neat thing about ICOM. I've been working with Dr. Inouye in 1999.
Yeah.
When he came to me and wanted to know if he could use my EQ200. Can he use it? Well, I think you could. And so from the Pro 1 all the way through to the 705, those all have my little EQ200 equalizer. You see that right above my head. It's about right there. Little
There it
bitty
is.
guy. That was the first equalizer in all of ham radio in 1982. And it really started me on my voyage into ham radio production, because we'd been doing all of 15 years for all of the different things for the bands and so on. But we're very proud of some of the things that we've come up with for ICOM, as well as Kenwood, Yesu, and all the rest of them. One of the things that a lot of guys don't pay attention to in some of our things is a couple of the microphones. We just did another production run of the HM12. This microphone has a very special story. It's only $69-$79, something like that, and it's just incredible. The story of the HM12 is that, oh golly, it'd been now about 6 or so years back. Fox News in Chicago had a ham, a friend of mine, and he was one of the engineers, and he said, you need to build us an interview microphone. And so to tool anything today, as you well know, we're not talking a couple of dollars. We're talking tens of thousands to tool anything. But the contract was good, and so we did it. And this special element, it's an open frame element, nothing else like it on the planet. And it really worked great. Well, a couple of years ago, Sarah, who owns the company, said, I think we need a microphone that's not real expensive, but I didn't say cheap. So I started working, and the contract had let out. We're out of that, but we still had all the tooling and we still had a lot of the elements. And so the reason it doesn't cost much, there wasn't any tooling, very, very minor. For the handle and push to talk, and no big deal there. That thing is amazing. If you have never tried an HM12, you bring me a microphone, anything around 100, 120, 30 bucks, you bring it to me, this thing will just wipe it out. It's incredible. It had to be used on Fox News. And so we were very happy about this, to be able to bring a microphone that wasn't expensive, because there are some companies trying to do cheapies. No, we can't do that. We've got to maintain the quality. And along with that was the PR781. All this is a PR40, but I rolled the last 2 octaves off. The PR40 was made for the broadcast. It never was anything that I wanted to do for the ham radio at the time, although there are thousands of them on ham radio, but you have to tame it. That's the problem. The thing gets down to 28 cycles. The RE20, any of the, I don't care what they are, Neumann's, they don't get down to 28. It's something that I learned with this big diaphragm. It's the only microphone that uses large diaphragms. I've even had some of the engineers from the other companies come to me, say, how'd you do that? And believe it or not, it was done on a kitchen table, the thought of it, by 2 hams, Joe Walsh and Heil. Joe, you got to build me a microphone. You do with a big element. We were just kidding. Well, I took that and away we went. But it's really hard to tame it. It's got a lot of low end. Now for ham radio, we need to increase that 2.5 mid-range. And so all of our microphones have that 2.5 mid-range. I learned that from Paul Klipschen, about 4,000 scientists of Bell Labs back in the 20s that couldn't figure out why the telephone system, when they first turned it on, didn't sound very good. And then they finally figured it out. The human being needed to have an elevated 2.5. And so I did that. But in the 781, I rolled the low end off, kept all that beautiful mid range, and it starts out about 100. It gets down 3 dBs around 50, but it sure is something. It's become one of our spectacular microphones for ham radio. I'm really excited about that one.
No, that is fabulous, Bob. The 781 is just a tremendous microphone. We've got some questions and comments here, so
sure.
let's get some of these through. If you have a question, we have Bob Heil on today with us, K9EID, and we're talking about all things Heil. So put your questions in the chat, and let's see. Good evening from Scotland. It's Golf Mike 0 Victor Radio Papa, and from Alaska, Kilo Lima 4 Sierra X-Ray, and Greg KF0 Charlie Uniform Zulu says, glad you're on the show, Bob. And from the land of Oz, and it's about 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Victor Kilo 4 Fox Alpha Bravo Quebec in Australia, and Sugar Queen 6 Echo Lima Victor in Poland. And Mohammed from Kuwait, 9 Kilo 2 Golf Tango says, Heil is the only brand of mics and headsets I purchase. Great stuff. And we've also got Addy, Germany 6 Alpha Delta. He says, I still use my Pro Set Plus. With replacement parts, it gives me great service. And Luke says, what is the model number for the IC705 mic?
You're talking about the headset, I would
imagine. Yes, the headset.
Yeah, it's called an HTH Heil, a handy talkie Heil, because it was really made for the ICOM handy talkie also, because there are some handy talkies that ICOM makes that uses the same plug configuration, which is kind of strange. It's got a very small 2.5 along with the 3.5, but the HTHI is what you need for the 705 and for any of the ICOM handy talkies, and that's the model number that we go with for the 705.
What is the adapter model? The little adapter cable.
It's going to be called the AD adapter, like all of our adapters. Is adapter AD-705.
AD-705. Very good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was from Fox 5 Radio Oscar Victor. I'm sorry, Radio Alpha Victor in France. And Mark Brown, our friend down in Huntsville, said November 4 Bravo Charlie Delta, says that adapter will be great. We lost a few minutes at a phone station when someone plugged their Heil ICOM headset into the Heil Yaesu adapter. So gotta watch those colors. There's color codes on there too. And Bruce says, this is Kilo Echo 8, Quebec Fox Papa. He says, I really like the Pro 7. And let's see, Sylvan says, the HTH-K, will that fit on a TYT radio, Bob?
I think it does. Yeah, I have trouble keeping up with them all, but I think it does. If it takes a Kenwood, it'll work.
Good. And let's see, we've got Kieran. He says, hi, Bob. I've had my present preset with the HC4 for over 20 years and at least 200,000 QSOs. Fantastic bit of a kit. So he likes it very much. And let's see, we got India Tango 9, India Delta Golf on. And Kieran says that's his Pro set. And Robin says, I have the PR780 on my IC70610. It works well. And let's see, we have a few more here. Robin says, what is the difference between a PR780 and a 781?
Quite a bit. There's a history. I'll let you have the history. When Dr. Inouye came up with the great IC7800, they came to me and wanted a microphone that they could pair with it. And we came up with the PR780. and it has two elements in it. The first one, there were two versions of it. The first one has the full range, one of our PR20 elements, and one of the HC5s. But then there was a switch on it. But a lot of guys were just using it full range because great equalization in all the ICOMs, and you really don't need but one microphone because you can, with transmitter bandwidth, TBW, you can narrow the transmit bandwidth. You can go into the equalizer, punch up that mid-range, roll off that low, or vice versa, whatever. So we just, the second version of the 780 just had one element in it. But that was very popular back when the 7800 came out, and still works great, of course. So congratulations on having it. It's a wonderful piece.
Yeah, there you go. And we have 9 Mic 6 Kilo Queen mic on from Malaysia. And let's see, going down here, we've got Hawaii on today. It's Kilo Alpha 1 Victor X-ray radio, portable King Henry 6. And Troy says, I have a PR40 I use for a podcast. I wanted to use it for my HF ham radio. What would I need to purchase to use it on a Yaesu FT991A?
That's going to be an adapter, and because it'll work, but you're going to have to really pay attention in the 991. You're going to have to set the transmitter bandwidth narrower, and you're going to have to really take care of the low end because it's got a lot of low end, and punch up some treble. But that's not a problem. You can do that. The parametric equalizer is really something. The problem with the parametric equalizer, and this happened to have been, I'll tell you a little history about that. We had worked with Dr. Inouye and did the Pro 1. That was very successful. It was the first transceiver that had equalizers built in, and it was our little EQ 200. Okay. Well, a year later, Dr. Hasegawa came to me in my booth at Dayton, and he's a pretty tall man, and he just come walking in my booth. I want to talk to you. Yes, sir. I want to do it better. What are we talking about? I'm talking about that EQ. So he and I stepped aside, and we came up with the idea. I said, I can do it with parametric. Oh, that'd be good. I said, no, not so fast. What'd be the problem? I said, education. What do you mean? I said, well, with the shelving EQ like we did for ICOM, just a 2-band, you already know what the frequencies are. I set them there, 160 hertz and 2.5K. You can only increase or decrease those two frequencies, which are fine. But parametric, there's a 3-band. I did a 3-band parametric. There are 9 controls, 9 plus the bandwidth. And so a lot of guys really, they miss it with their Yaesus. They're still using them in the default mode. And it really, really hurts me when I hear people doing that. But the only reason they do it is they don't understand it. Even the manuals, they got a bunch of graphs. They don't mean anything. And so you go to our website, you look under the support pages. There'll be a thing called All Things ICOM, All Things Yaesu, All Things Kenwood, Elecrat. They're all there. But under Yaesu, I give you the settings of those 9 buttons, so to speak. But with any Yaesu, another thing the guys miss, they have a save button. One of the only radios that have a save button. So you do all of these things that you want to do. If you don't save it, you're back to default, and you don't want to be in the default, not with such a great tool as that parametric equalizer. And you can really fine tune it in. But we have all of that on our website for you, so you want to go there. Last but not least, if you still can't get it going, send me an email, and hey, we'll get on Skype or Zoom or telephone, and I'll help you. That's what I do these days. I spend most of my time here in this new studio, either designing things or answering emails and phone calls. Sometimes I get 100 a day. I don't care. I want to help you. And that's a problem. A lot of the manufacturers, they really don't want to do that. And so the dealers are out here floating with no help either. And so we want to help everybody. So don't be shy. Give me a buzz and we'll help you out with that. Okay.
All right. We got quite a few more questions here. John says, I have 2 Heil headsets. They are great and wouldn't buy any other brand. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Jeremy says, this is Alpha Delta 5 X-Ray Yankee. Dr. Bob, can't wait to hook up my HC6 to my Corsair 2, or I guess it's just a Corsair. And Simon says, the cable on my HC4 is intermittent. Without buying a whole headset, can the cable be replaced? He's over in England.
I wonder what headset it is. But yes, every piece and part of our products in the last 10 years, or some of them out there, but especially cables, we have that. Send an email to me, Bob at heilsound.com, and we'll get you fixed up because every part's available.
And John says, how did the antenna raising go? We haven't raised any antennas yet. We've just been assembling them. So we'll stay tuned. We'll have more on that soon. Michael Coulter, WHCI, is on from Xenia. And he says, great to see and hear Bob on the show. He's done so much for amateur radio since the middle of last century.
Hey, thanks a lot. I got your email or your post the other day. I appreciate that very much. And yeah, I love it. I hope we can get things rocking again someday. But really nice to hear from you, Michael. Also wanted to say hi to Mark. I miss it when Mark was on a while ago. So greetings to everybody. I really enjoy seeing and hearing from people.
So Luke says the AD705, thanks. I need to bring my IC705 to the C5C expedition in November. Already Pro Set IC forever on my IC7000. And Jeff says, I have several Heil mics and headsets. I use them all because I can't find a favorite. They are all awesome. Thanks, Bob. And that's from Jeff, KE8 India Charlie Golf. John says, hello, Bob. I have an ICOM 7610 and your PR781. I would like to use the 781 with the 7610 impedance-wise. Not a problem, right, Bob?
No. What's interesting, everybody, all of the radios today, I mean, since, oh, golly, all the solid state ones, maybe the 520s and something like that, but everything of today's nature is all low impedance. It's not 600. I shouldn't say this because boy, do I rattle up cages. They're not 600 ohms. They're about 1,000 or 1,200. And that really disturbs a lot of people like, low impedance 600. No, but don't worry about it. Anything under about 1,500 ohms is low impedance. So don't worry about it. Why do I say this? Because a lot get real confused because it's, I got 1,000 ohm microphone and it's not going to work. Here's the deal. Impedance is not a fixed number. It's not fixed. Why? Because impedance varies with frequency. Now that'll really get you going, but it's true. What happens there is that the resistance, it's EIR, right? And when that resistance is set and your frequency's weird because it moves because of the frequency, that's why impedance cannot be stapled bang. But it can be low, anything under 1,500 or so, you're okay. But you get up to be 30,000 or 50,000, now we're going to have a matching transformer, and we build that. It's a hard thing to find. You can find some broadcast ones, but you're going to spend a lot of money. You don't have to do that. I think it's 15, 20 bucks. We build it, and it's very wide range. That's another thing about it. But anyway, you're okay. It's not going to be impedance problems. It's going to be, listen up, microphone preamp gain. ICOM has always had lower gain because they, in the beginning, used nothing but active microphones, the little electrodes. They have an FET in there, a field effect transistor, inside the microphone element. And that's why you have to feed it the bias voltage, which all the ICOMs do. And so you don't have to worry about impedance. You have to worry about gain. A dynamic microphone, usually, especially in the later models of ICOM, will work fine. But oh my gosh, Heil, I got to turn it up. Yeah, don't worry about it. How do you adjust microphone gain? Another one of my favorite subjects. You watch the ALC meter. When I was called upon by Yaesu, Dr. Hasegawa, to develop the first equalizer, the parametric, we did it in the 9000. I got my way. First of all, it has an XLR broadcast connector on the front panel, low impedance broadcast connector, none of the 8-pin CB connectors that we have to deal with. And there is no ALC meter on the panel. I had them rename it. And if you look at a Yaesu 9000, the meter says mic gain, because that is exactly what you use to check mic gain. And just like you see over my shoulder with that loudness meter, we never want to see it go over into the red, because when we do, oh, buddy, you heard what happens. No, we don't want to do that. We want to keep that microphone gain, and the way you address a microphone is to stay out of the red. Normally, you want it about halfway. That's where you adjust the mic gain. That's very useful information, because a lot of people, well, I'll get on the air and I asked my buddy Jojo and he said it's okay. No, you're the engineer. You hold the FCC license. You should be able to really understand all your gear, and you do after a matter of time if you're new ham. But one of the major things is you set the equalizer the way you like to hear it in your monitor with headphones. You set the mic gain where it's doing what I just told you. You are the engineer of your amateur radio station. You don't call up WDW, the commercial radio station in your town or whatever, and say, hey, I don't like you got too much bass, or you turn up. You don't do that. There are multi-million-dollar engineers out there running around. They set the gain. They set the processors. They set the equalizers the way they want it. That's it. They're the engineer. You are the engineer of your station. And you have to think about it like that. Because every time you get on, if you got 5 or 6 guys, you're going to get 7 or 8 different answers.
There you go. Well, we're going to have to move along here. We've got a lot of questions to go through, and we have just a few minutes left. What headset has background blocking? That's from Papa Echo 2 Kilo. Just about everything's noise canceling. I mean, you got to be up close, right?
This baby right here. You're talking about a headset. This is it.
Yep.
And you have to address a microphone. You cannot be 2 feet from a microphone. No more than 2 inches. No more. And especially with the headsets. Yeah. Yep. So you're okay. Yeah.
And so Greg says, Bob, how much better with the Pras is for dialing around weak signals versus a standard radio?
Do that again. What was it? Oh, the PRAS. Well, yeah. Huh. I want to, before we close, I want to take about 2 minutes. Tell me when I have 2 minutes, because I got a great demonstration I want to do here.
All right. We'll do that here at the end. Mike says, joined late, but what are the headset options for the 7300? Anything for the Zygu G90? Can I buy the headset with the adapters used between the 7300 and the G90?
Yeah, I don't know much about that. If it uses like Kenwood or Yaesu, you should be okay.
Yeah,
The adapter.
I don't know about the
Yeah,
G90, but
I don't know.
all headsets can be used on the 7300, so that is no problem at all.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Recently purchased a Pro 7 headset. I also have the ICMBG. I love them. And N0 X-Ray Oscar Hotel. Marvin says, is there a better Pro set HC6 for my FT2000?
Not really. Especially with the 2000, you have equalization and bandwidth filtering. You adjust that right and punch up more treble, and you're great. Yeah, I like that.
And Brian says, I'm running a Flex in a rack mount, and the mic and the headphone jacks are on the rear. Is there a patch panel made that would bring the plugs out to a more convenient place on my desk?
We don't make one. However, I made one. In fact, there it is right there. A lot of guys want some kind of switching network. Don't ever try it because you're going to have RF like crazy. This is how you do it. All of these, and these are nylon plugs. There are no grounds between any of the radios or microphones. And so this is plugged into here. If I wanted here, I do that. This is the push to talk line, just like the old telephone operators. And I tell you what, that works so good. I've done that for many, many years, and it works great. But that's something you want to do. And
Jeremy says, is there an audio transformer available at a Guitar Center that works as the impedance matching transformer for the Ten-Tec Corsair 2?
I doubt it. Yeah, send me a note. No, our XT1 is the one you would want for that.
And Dan says, are any recommendations for microphones for the Drake TR4, TR7s, and C-Line?
We don't have anything off the shelf. You would have to build a little adapter with the XT1 in it. We don't have any high impedance microphones for that, except one. And it seems to work pretty good. We built it for the Collins, and it's been working on the Drake, and it's called a Goldline Vintage. The only situation you might have to change the connector, because Drake had 4 different kind of plugs, same name of radio over the years, but they changed the connectors. I don't know why they kept doing that. But anyway, the Goldline Vintage would be your answer. You'll just have to come up with maybe, and it might fit. It's made, the cable's made for a Collins, which is 3/16. But some of the Drakes use that. So you could be in good luck with the Goldline Vintage. It has the transformer built in.
And Tom says, what would be a recommended microphone to use with the FTDX 3000?
What a wonderful transceiver that is. I really like that. Adjust the equalizer, right? Any of them. I would really say the PR781. It really is the go-to microphone today.
Robin says, is there going to be an IC705 adapter to the 8-pin socket?
Yeah, I said, we're out probably going to be October maybe, but we just started on it. We had to get this one all finished first. It takes so much time, but yeah, it's coming. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And Jeff says, Bob, are you going to the Huntsville Hamfest?
No, we're not going to do that this year. We're kind of holding back a little bit with all this COVID. It just cranked up again here in the St. Louis area, and they're starting to shut St. Louis down, and it's really scary. And I just don't want to put myself out there at my old age.
And Steve says, any way to adapt the Pro 7 headset to a Pro 7 IC?
Do what now? A Pro 7
Any
headset?
way to adapt the Pro 7 headset to a Pro 7 IC?
Oh, well, yeah. You need this. We have interchangeable microphone elements. This is the IC element.
Yep.
This is the DX element. The HC7 is my favorite. That's dynamic. Oh, yeah. All you need to do is call DX Engineering and buy the IC element for the Pro 7. Plug that in.
There you go. Let's see. I want to try to get to everything here. The questions keep coming in. Dr. Bob, why is the PR40 range 28 hertz, 18 hertz? It's designed to do broadcast work.
Yeah.
So,
right. And recording.
Yep. So it's a different design. Let's see here. And in fact, that question was answered in the chat. And our final question before we go into the PRAS, how about a recommendation for a mobile mic for the ICOM IC700?
We have the best mobile microphone. I should have brought mine out here and plugged it up for you. I hate hand mics. Why? Because every single solitary hand mic sound like this, because the element is in a clamshell. And so what I did is I opened it up. The whole top is open. And when you open it up, it doesn't sound like a clamshell anymore, does it? It is a remarkable microphone. Just yesterday, I got one. I had to put an XLR in it. The front of the house audio engineer for Alanis Morissette bought one of these because he wants to use it in his talkback microphone. And because they hate all of this kind of thing, but they wanted a hand mic. They love it. They've got a couple of them. And we don't get much play. Maybe I don't say enough about it that the dealers don't. There's nothing like the HMM hand mic. Nothing. It's so good. And you want to check it out because it's not very expensive, but that's it.
That sounds great, Bob. All right, here's the 2 minutes on the PRAS.
Okay, well, let me show you what's going on. First of all, I needed to build a speaker. And the speaker is amazing. It's Paul Klipp's design. Old Paul took me under his wing years ago, taught me how to take a speaker out in free air and tune it, find out what the free air cone resonance was. Then you build the cabinet to do that. And it has a 3.5-inch tweeter in it too. The amplifier is 25 watts. Every single solitary thing out there, everybody, is like 5 to 10% distortion. They don't print their distortion factors because they're terrible. This thing is 0.1%. This is hi-fi spec at 25 watts. And you'll notice it has a balanced input, 3-pin balanced. But what happened was I needed to come up with something to help people that were having trouble hearing. Let me change microphones here. And so what we did is I'm just a real nut about our parametric equalization. And I knew we needed to do it. And so, boy, did we. We came up with an incredible thing called the parametric receive system. And as you see, there's really nothing out there. Yeah, there's a couple of things. It's partially. This is really a product built for you, and it's built at your request. A lot of the things I do, they get requested, things that I build because you've asked for it. And that is really so important. But here's the deal. Not only is it something we have for the microphone or for the receiver, an equalization, but there are 2 headphone amplifiers separate. They're not just Y chords like other people would do for you. No, these are separate amplifiers, and you can have a logger, you can have an operator. But this isn't one of the things that really is really playing big part with the sales today. Left and right headphone. So if you have a hearing imbalance, you can fix it right here. No problem. So there's a multitude of uses for the headphone system. I also have another amplifier, an output amplifier. You can take cable out of here, plug it into your computer, and make beautiful recordings. That's always something that's tough to do. No, it's not. It's real simple. And then we have the input level. We also have then the equalizer. I have 6K is fixed. You can increase or decrease that. You can increase or decrease 160. I always roll it off. We don't need it. But the all-important parametric, that means you can change the parameters of that particular from 400 to 4,000. When I play you this clip in a minute, when I hit 2.5, it just comes screaming at you. And this is a DX contact, so let's take a listen. This is, at first, is how you hear it.
Heated up the tape and
I'm gonna get rid
sure
of that.
enough, I can copy it.
There we go. It's the way you hear him.
Echo India 8 Bravo Lima Bravo.
There's the way you hear that. Flat.
For Sierra Germany. Hope I have it right. Very good radio from Ireland. Name is Lima India Alpha Mike over. Hello, CQ, sending, CQ, meters. Echo India 8 Bravo Lima Bravo. EI8LB calling in right.
Of usual single sideband signals that are
Back to flat.
mushy and bassy, difficult to understand. But you can add some speech articulation just by adding some 2.5 mid-range.
Here we go. Flat.
The 2 meter, a sideband, but
Here it
it's
comes.
not the same as a rig built, just for 2 meter sideband. The receivers will never compare. So it's kind of nice that, again, ICOM technology.
And it's an amazing product. One of the new things on the production now, the meter turns red when the overload hits. It's kind of cool. Just a little gadget thing. And I think you can see that. Hey, we love toys, don't we? But it's just wonderful to be able to build products that help people. I also cannot tell you how many of our, how many of these are being used for television. We have a number of people that are using them on their televisions because television audio is terrible. And I use it on shortwave receivers. Oh, man. And so it's a product. There is nothing like it. Yeah, there's a couple of things that think they are, but I'm sorry. We have answered all of the questions in this product from the speaker all the way out. And I'm very proud of this. And it goes along with so many other things. It even comes down to our wire. If you've never seen our wire for microphones, there's nothing like it. It's 18 gauge, not 24/6 like we all have. And the push to talk lines outside RF generator, when you put DC and AC in the same shield, they all do. I can't tell you how many RFI problems that I have solved by using just changing the cable. And the connectors, I got tired of the CB connectors, so I did my own. Like a TS2000. It's really tough to get into there with that little ring. Well, this ring's big and the cable clamps work. You don't need heat shrink or black tape. They are made for our cable. And these are all things that I do because I'm playing all day here. And when I build a product, I know it works because it's been on the air for months before we ever put it in production. So that's just some of the things going on here. It's always very active. I'm always here. Send me an email. We'll be there. We'll meet you on the air if you really have a problem and help you. That's what I do these days. But the other thing I do is we go over here and do a lot of things on the theater organ too. And maybe we'll come back someday and play a whole thing. How about that?
Sounds good. We'll make a date for that. Thank you so much for coming on today, Bob. Always great to see you and great to see what's going on at the fabulous company there, Heil Sound. We wish you the best. And And thanks to all the viewers for all your comments and questions today. A very lively bunch. And if we can help you have more fun with the greatest hobby in the world, give us a call here at DX Engineering.
Right on.
Until tomorrow afternoon, 73 from DX Engineering and Heil Sound.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Tim. Greetings.